there's a moment. A quiet moment when a man looks at a woman and something shifts inside him. He doesn't know exactly what it is. But suddenly, he sits up a little straighter. He chooses his words more carefully. He treats her differently. Not because she demanded it. Not because she raised her voice or made threats. But because something about her presence told him, this woman knows her worth. And here's what I want you to understand today, that moment. It's not magic, it's not luck. And it has nothing to do with being beautiful or young or perfect. It's about how you carry yourself. It's about habits. Small, quiet habits that most women were never taught. But before I share these habits with you, I want us to pause for a moment. Because I think it's important that we start with something deeper. Why does this even matter? Why should you care about earning respect from men? And let me be clear about something right from the beginning. This is not about performing for anyone. This is not about changing who you are so that a man will finally approve of you. That's not what we're doing here. This matters because respect is the foundation of peace. Think about it. When someone respects you, they don't waste your time. They don't play games with your heart. They don't speak to you carelessly or treat you like an option. Respect creates safety. And safety allows you to relax. It allows you to be soft. It allows you to actually enjoy your relationships instead of constantly fighting to be seen, constantly fighting to be valued, constantly wondering if you're enough. For women in our season of life, women who are 30, 40, 50 years old, women who have lived and loved, and maybe been hurt along the way, this becomes even more important. Because we've already learned, haven't we? We've learned that love without respect is exhausting. We've learned that relationships where we have to beg to be valued slowly drain the light right out of us. And many of us are done. We're done proving ourselves. We're done shrinking. We're done accepting less than we deserve just to keep the peace or to not be alone. So this matters because you deserve relationships that feel good. You deserve a life where the people around you, especially the men around you, treat you with dignity. Not because you demanded it in anger, but because something about you simply commands it. That's why we're having this conversation today. So here's what I'm going to share with you. I'm going to walk you through 5 habits. 5 simple, practical habits that create respect. The kind of respect that happens almost instantly. The kind that shifts how people treat you from the very first interaction. These are not complicated. You don't need a degree. You don't need to be a certain size or have a certain income or look a certain way. These are habits of the heart and the mind that any woman can begin practicing today. And by the end of this video, you'll understand not just what these habits are, but why they work. You'll see how small shifts in the way you carry yourself can completely change the way others experience you. More importantly, you'll have practical steps, things you can actually do starting right now to become a woman who naturally commands respect wherever she goes. So stay with me, because this might be exactly what you needed to hear today. Let me start with something that seems so simple, but it's actually quite rare. The first habit is this: you honor your own word. What does that mean? It means when you say something, you mean it. When you set a boundary, you keep it. When you make a promise to yourself, you follow through. Now, let me explain why this matters so deeply. Men, whether they realize it or not, are always paying attention to how you treat your own words. They're watching. They're listening. They're testing, sometimes without even knowing they're testing. If you say, "I won't tolerate disrespect," but then you stay when you're disrespected, they learn something about you. If you say, "I need a man who's honest," but then you accept lies over and over again, they learn something about you. If you say, "I'm going to focus on myself this year," but then you abandon your goals the moment a new man gives you attention, they learn something about you. And what do they learn? They learn that your words don't mean much. And when your words don't mean much to you, why would they mean much to anyone else? This is not about being harsh. This is not about being rigid or cold or impossible to please. This is about self-trust. When you honor your own word, you're telling yourself, I can be counted on. I am reliable. What I say matters. And when you trust yourself, something beautiful happens. Others begin to trust you too. Others begin to take you seriously. Others begin to respect you almost automatically. Let me give you an example. I want you to imagine a woman named Grace. Grace is 40, 3 years old. She's been divorced for about 4 years now, and she recently started dating again. She meets a man online. He seems charming. He seems interesting. They have a lovely first date. But then something happens. He cancels their second date at the last minute. No real explanation, just something vague about being busy. Grace is disappointed, but she tells herself, okay, things happen. I'll give him another chance. They reschedule. He cancels again. Same vague excuse. Now, the old Grace might have kept trying. She might have convinced herself that he was just really busy. She might have made excuses for him. She might have bent herself into a pretzel, trying to be understanding and flexible and easygoing. But the new Grace, the Grace who has learned to honor her own word, she simply says to him very calmly, very kindly, I understand life gets busy. But consistent plans are important to me. I hope things settle down. I think I'll step back for now. And then she does exactly that. She steps back. She doesn't send angry texts. She doesn't ask for explanations. She doesn't try to change his mind. She simply keeps her word to herself. And here's what's interesting. A week later, that same man reaches out. His tone is different now. He apologizes sincerely. He asks if he can try again, and this time he follows through. Did Grace demand respect? No, she didn't need to. She simply showed him through her actions that her word means something. That's the power of this habit. So what can you do today? First, start paying attention to the promises you make to yourself. Small ones, big ones, all of them. When you say you're going to wake up early and go for a walk, do you do it? When you say you're done responding to that person who treats you poorly, do you stop responding? When you say you're going to prioritize your health, your peace, your growth, do you actually follow through? Begin building trust with yourself, because that internal trust is the foundation of everything. Second, practice making smaller commitments and keeping them. Don't say, I'm going to completely transform my life this week. That's too big. Say, today, I'm going to drink 8 glasses of water, and then do it. This sounds so simple, but it rewires something inside you. It teaches your brain and your heart that you are a woman who does what she says she's going to do. Third, when you set a boundary with someone else, write it down. Write down exactly what you said, what you meant, and what you will do if that boundary is crossed. Then, when the moment comes, you don't have to think. You don't have to wonder. You just follow through on what you already decided. That's habit number 1. Honor your own word, and watch how quickly the world begins to honor it too. The second habit is one that so many women struggle with, and I include myself in this. I had to learn this lesson the hard way. Here it is, you don't over-explain yourself. Let me describe what over-explaining looks like. Someone asked you why you can't come to an event, and instead of simply saying, I won't be able to make it, but thank you for inviting me, you launch into a detailed story. You explain that your daughter has a recital, and your mother isn't feeling well, and you've been so tired lately because work has been demanding, and you really wish you could come, you really do, and you hope they're not upset, and maybe next time, and please don't be offended, and you're so sorry, and you see what happened there. A simple no became an apology. An explanation became a defense. A decision became a request for permission. And here's why this matters. When you over-explain, you send a message. You might not mean to send it, but you send it anyway. The message is, I don't think my decision is valid on its own. I need you to approve it. I need you to agree with me. I need you to tell me it's okay for me to do what I already know I need to do. And when you constantly seek that approval, something shifts in how people see you. They start to believe that your no is negotiable. They start to believe that if they push a little harder, you'll change your mind. They start to believe that you need their permission to live your own life. That's not respect, that's dependency. And it slowly chips away at your power. Now, let me be very clear about something. Explaining yourself is not always bad. Sometimes it's kind. Sometimes it's appropriate. Sometimes it's part of maintaining a healthy relationship with communication and openness. What I'm talking about is the habit of over-explaining. The compulsive need to justify every single decision. The fear that if you just say no, people will be angry or won't understand or won't like you. A woman who commands respect understands that her reasons are valid even when she doesn't share them. Let me give you a picture of this. Think about the most composed woman you know. Maybe she's someone in your family. Maybe she's a colleague. Maybe she's someone you admire from a distance. Now imagine asking her something simple. Can you help me move on Saturday? What does she say? She probably doesn't panic. She probably doesn't start listing every single thing she has to do that day. She probably just says, very warmly but very clearly, I won't be able to help this Saturday, but I hope it goes smoothly for you. That's it. No long story. No guilt, no apology tour. And how do you feel about her? You probably respect her. You probably don't think she's rude or cold. You probably just think she knows what she can and can't do. That's the energy we're talking about. So how do you practice this? First, before you respond to any request, give yourself a moment. A breath, a pause. Don't answer immediately out of obligation or anxiety. Just take a moment to check in with yourself and decide what you actually want to say. Second, practice short responses. When you need to decline something, try saying just 1 or 2 sentences. I can't make it, but thank you for thinking of me. That doesn't work for me, but I appreciate you asking. I'm not available for that, but I hope you find what you need. And then stop talking. That last part is important. Stop talking. The urge to fill the silence is strong. The urge to explain more, to soften more, to apologize more will be there. But resist it. Let your answer be complete. Third, remember this truth. You do not need anyone's approval to take care of yourself. I want you to say that out loud right now if you can. I do not need anyone's approval to take care of myself. Your time is valuable. Your energy is sacred. Your decisions are yours to make. When you stop over-explaining, you stop giving away your power. You stop inviting debate about things that are not up for debate. And men notice this immediately. When a woman answers clearly and calmly without shrinking, without apologizing, without seeking validation, something in them shifts. They think this woman is secure. This woman knows who she is. This woman doesn't need me to tell her she's allowed to be who she is. And that's exactly the kind of woman who gets respect. This one is going to land differently for some of you, because many of us were raised to care deeply about what others think. The third habit is this: you protect your peace before you protect your image. What does that mean in practice? It means that when you have to choose between looking good and feeling good, you choose feeling good. It means that you are willing to be misunderstood. You are willing to disappoint people. You are willing to walk away from situations that look fine on the outside, but feel terrible on the inside. Now, let me tell you why this creates respect. In a world where most people are performing, where most people are trying so hard to look perfect and happy and unbothered, the woman who genuinely prioritizes her inner state stands out. She's not chasing applause. She's not staying in a relationship just because it looks good on paper. She's not accepting treatment that hurts her just to avoid conflict. She has a different priority. And that priority is her peace. Here's a hard truth that took me years to learn. Some people will only respect you when they see that you respect yourself. And you cannot fake that. You cannot say, "I respect myself," while accepting chaos. You cannot claim peace while constantly pouring yourself into situations that drain you. Your life speaks louder than your words. Let me share a story with you. There's a woman I'll call Miriam. Miriam is 51 years old. She's been married for 26 years. From the outside, her marriage looks beautiful. Nice house, successful husband, grown children. She's the kind of woman other people envy. But inside that marriage, Miriam has been slowly losing herself. Her husband dismisses her opinions. He makes her feel small in front of others. He's not cruel in an obvious way, but he's careless. Careless with her feelings. Careless with her needs. Careless with her heart. For years, Miriam stayed. She stayed because of what people would think. She stayed because of her reputation. She stayed because she was afraid of being a divorced woman at her age. She protected her image. She sacrificed her peace. And then one day, something shifted. Miriam started therapy. She started reading. She started having honest conversations with herself. And she realized something painful, but necessary. She had spent decades earning everyone's approval except her own. So Miriam began to change. She started speaking up at home. She started setting boundaries. And when her husband refused to change, she made a decision that shocked everyone. She left. Now, what happened next is important. Some people judged her. Some people gossiped. Some people couldn't understand why she would leave a marriage that seemed fine. But other people, especially other women, looked at Miriam with new eyes. They saw her courage. They saw her self-respect. They saw a woman who chose herself even when it was hard. And her husband, the one who had dismissed her for years, he didn't suddenly become a better man, but he did say something interesting to a mutual friend. He said, "I never realized how serious she was. I thought she would always stay." That's it right there. When you protect your peace, you show people that you're serious. You show them that your well-being is not negotiable. You show them that you are willing to lose things, even big things, to keep your dignity. And that kind of woman, she commands respect. Not because she's loud, not because she's aggressive, but because she has a line that cannot be crossed. So what can you practice? First, start noticing when you're prioritizing image over peace. Ask yourself, am I saying yes to this because I want to, or because I'm afraid of what people will think if I say no? Am I staying in this situation because it's good for me, or because leaving would be embarrassing? Second, give yourself permission to disappoint people. I know that sounds hard. I know it goes against everything you might have been taught. But sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is let someone else be uncomfortable. Third, make peace a non-negotiable. Treat your inner peace like oxygen. You need it. It's not a luxury. It's not something you'll get to one day when everything is perfect. It's something you protect now, firstly and unapologetically. When you do this, something beautiful happens. You stop attracting people who want to disturb you. You stop tolerating treatment that doesn't match your worth. And the people who do remain in your life, they treat you better because they know what you value. Let's talk about how you communicate. The fourth habit is this: you speak with intention, not reaction. What's the difference? Reactive speaking is when your emotions take over and your words come out before you've thought about them. Someone says something that hurts you and you immediately fire back. Someone disappoints you and you send a long, emotional message at 2 a.m. Someone pushes a button and you explode. We've all been there. I'm not judging. Emotions are